Good afternoon, Facebook audience, Spinnaker Property Management Facebook audience, I should say. I'm Jennifer Noreen from Beyond Brand Collective, and I'm here with Mark Melsness of Spinnaker. For those of you that are newly following this page, Mark is the leader at Spinnaker. He is the designated broker and property manager, even though lots of people do the job of property management. He's the leader there. How are you, Mark? Good to see you.
I am super fantastic. Haven't got prepared for the Christmas shopping yet, but I guess I'll figure it out.
I know. We both need to figure that out together because me either. I'm so busy. So today we wanted to take some time and talk about giving back and what you're doing for the community and the way that you slow down and identify organizations that you feel strongly about and give back in resources and time.
Yeah.
And or in resources that are in the form of time and money and and others. So I thought that was appropriate for the holiday season. So we do have a new section on your website, spinnakerpm.com, that's called Giving Back. And if you want to, after you view this video, see the details of these three organizations we're going to discuss, please feel free to visit the site. And if you have an organization that you know is in need that Mark might consider for giving going into the next year, please let us know that. We'll put an email address and the website up at the end. So
yeah, just reach out and look at.
Yeah, we're always looking for opportunities to give back out of the abundance that we all have. So, so Mark, let's talk about Beers and Bites, next chapter, and LLP. So what is Beers and Bites? I know that's one that you've gotten involved with in the last couple of years.
Yeah, Beers and Bites is a charity auction designed around the South Sound Cancer Program that actually locally raises money through businesses and families and individuals here for the South Sound area that uses that money here in the South Sound area to do leading edge cancer treatment and processes that aren't funded through other agencies. So basically it's a grassroots way to, hey, let's try this program, because if we don't do it with your help, nobody else will.
So it's kind of the cutting edge research out there beyond what we're already working on. And I know that part of the team is a pretty prominent local doctor. So can you talk about Dr. Senecal?
Yeah, super awesome guy. Just really put himself out there, not only in the world of leading edge, but also financially and community-wise to, like I said, grassroots draw these really powerful people who can make a difference and can make a difference locally. And I was invited to that group, and it's a large group. It's not like it's a select invitation only, but
sure,
I get to participate in that and make a difference. And this last year in 19, we had a normal world at the time, and we raised over $1 million locally.
Wow.
$1 million locally in just one evening.
Oh, wow. That's very impressive.
Yeah.
Wow.
And this year they did it through Zoom, which was a little tricky, but really worked out and raised over $750,000.
Oh my goodness.
Right?
We need to update the site with that information. That's incredible. That's a lot of money. And so does it go to specific research organizations that Dr. Senecal advises, or how does that work?
It goes to his. It's the cancer. I'm stumbling over the name of it, and you can find it on our website.
Yeah, it's like Sound. I can't remember it either, but it is on the website. So is it not? So it's not to pay for cancer treatment; it's to pay for research for new approaches to cancer treatment,
and apply that treatment to patients who are suffering with cancer.
Oh wow, that's really cool.
So
and is it regional? Does the money stay regional?
Not even regional. It stays really tight local. So,
oh wow.
Yeah, so it's really, like I said, just a grassroots. I don't know if you can say neighborhood because it's bigger than like Gig Harbor or North or South Tacoma, but it's like Pierce County, King County stuff.
Yeah. Wow. That's really exciting. So if you have a family member that's struggling and looking, especially probably if it's a rare cancer, it's a source of research dollars for someone
Yeah,
right here in our area. That's really cool.
yeah.
So that is an annual event and
In
involvement that you
October.
have. And then there's also Next Chapter, which is kind of an ongoing. Can you talk about how you help Next Chapter and what is Next Chapter?
Yeah, Next Chapter is a local faith-based housing program for homeless mothers or mothers transitioning into homelessness.
Mm-hmm.
So they're typically single parent raising kids who have no job, no place to go, no support, no money. And instead of being on the street or being with children on the street, Next Chapter, and we have a video with, um, uh, gosh darn, Catherine, in much more detail about that if you go and look at our website. And it really does focus on the mother individually learning how to get themselves propped back up with stand from the members of the Next Chapter leadership. And they teach them employment interview skills. They teach them parenting mother skills. They teach them education and uh, cleaning around the house, doing dishes, laundry, and social skills.
Mm-hmm.
So they learn how to interact and be with their children, with employers, with neighbors, and doing finances and cooking. And they go through this program and they graduate out and into the world they go prepared, probably better than most people.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Spinnaker not only works with them on our time and our energy and knowledge, we also, donate to the group, and we work to transition or to work with the mothers transitioning out into the homes that we manage.
Yeah, so I was part of a donation delivery, and it's a home atmosphere. So
Yeah.
there's a house mother there, house parent there managing the home, and then
Monique,
there's
yep.
actually kids tootling around and families living there. And so it feels like you're giving to an organization that is absolutely helping someone in a real moment right now
Yeah,
in need.
it is.
And
Yep.
like you said, I remember from we did do a video with Catherine and Mark, and Catherine, who is the leader of that Next Chapter organization, explained that, like what you said, the financial help they provide, but also the skills that they teach and just the emotional and spiritual support that they supply these women that are trying to really turn their life another direction and are struggling to feed children at the same time. So pretty cool, very local focused, very real life needs and that you're meeting there. It's super exciting, fun to see. So is that like an annual donation thing that you do, or do you support them on an ongoing basis, or do you give your time, or are these
Yeah,
organizations that ones that you volunteer at, or all of the above, or?
it's a yes. There's not a lot of volunteering at Next Chapter.
Mm-hmm.
They do need financial support to pay the rent and the electricity that it takes to do that. Because they get other funding, but it's all mostly
Sure.
private. And then as the mothers are preparing to transition out, they're going to most likely going into rental housing.
Mm-hmm.
So I provide a course that prepares them to be an excellent renter. And so if they're not renting from a home from us at Spinnaker, then they can become that target individual applying that landlords are looking for,
Mm-hmm.
and do it. And they can also select the right landlord too. So
Yeah, so rental readiness. So what a
yeah,
great segue to our next topic, which is
yeah,
Landlord Liaison Program, which is a Pierce County based and Pierce County serving organization that offers all kinds of support to people already in homes, rental homes, but those also looking for rental homes. So the rental readiness course is something that you teach at Landlord Liaison Program. Can you tell me a little bit about Landlord Liaison Program first, and then more about that class that you teach?
yeah. So the landlord liaison program, short version, is a uh, program that's funded by the county, Pierce County.
Mm-hmm.
And with those funds, they act as a liaison, landlord liaison, go
Mm-hmm.
between for standing for the landlords and the renters or case managers to work together for a solution promptly, right? Instead of being a breakdown when you got maybe an upset landlord and an upset renter, you can have landlord liaison come in between that and negotiate a solution instead of a loss of relationship. In
Yes.
addition to that, go ahead.
Well, I also remember how they mitigate risk for landlords that want to rent. And I love this because there's people that just need one hand up into housing and then they're on their way. And so
Yep.
people that are considered a high risk renter, landlord liaison program, I believe supplies funds, and correct me if I'm wrong, but they supply mitigation funds so that it's not as high of a risk for a landlord to rent to someone that may need a hand up. So did I explain that right?
Yeah, kind of. So what they don't actually fund anything. Like I said, they're like the liaison to continue landlords to provide housing to second chance occupants. Maybe they have an addiction. Maybe they don't make enough money. Maybe they have something else on their path or in their past that most landlords will pass on with their normal criteria level.
Mm-hmm.
So we actually reduce our criteria to work with them, and then the landlord liaison program through their housing bank, which we list our homes on, matches that renter up with us in an assistance program that funds them in and while they're in residency. And then in addition to that, there's also the state mitigation fund to reimburse landlords for lost revenue or expenses from somebody moving out. And in addition to that, if the state doesn't cover enough, then Pierce County steps in and has another additional match to cover, to hopefully at that time cover that. So really, landlord liaison program, finds landlords that want to help second chance occupants, works with them in the assistance associations or agencies to get matched up, helps them get into occupancy, works to resolve any issues between landlords and renters, and then gives extra financial risk management to the landlord if there's a failure in that relationship at the time of move out. It's a
so in real terms, you're talking about that so industry with all your industry terminology. So in real life terms, if a landlord decides to move someone in that is typically a high risk person, so they don't have solid employment or they have many children and need a large unit and it's expensive to fund that. So if they move Joe Smith in, who's a high risk renter, and Joe Smith, after 6 months, leaves the apartment trashed and in need of tons of repair. And so then the landlord's saying, oh my goodness, I wanted to help Joe, but he's fallen down on his commitment. What does this program do to help that landlord?
Yeah, so one, like I said, they match, like for me, the landlord up with the assistance program at time of move-in or before, and they put extra cash in the bank to like extra deposits for that potential risk. And then during the relationship, they manage any breakdowns like between the renter and the landlord if something's not working out, to try to salvage, educate the landlord or educate the renter.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the relationship, if there's expenses or loss of income that wasn't covered by the deposit, then there's the resources from the state and then again the county.
Got it. So it's extra.
It's a great program.
Extra security deposit money, essentially, set aside. And so if the leasing person walks into the apartment and it's missing appliances or has a rug that needs to be replaced, they use the regular security deposit money plus whatever's been funded by landlord liaison program and their sources. So it sounds like there's county and state levels help.
It does. And what's also great is that the renters that are applying go through the renter's readiness course to learn how to be a great renter and find great landlords and learn the rights and responsibilities of that relationship. So now they're educated in addition to looking for, and it really does mitigate a lot of what we just talked about that happens at the end of the relationship, to where the deposit more than covers any of the expenses and they get the majority of the deposit back, just like a conventional move out.
Yep. Wow. So it really does truly mitigate the risk. And so if I'm a landlord and I have properties in high risk areas that just are full of high risk renters, it makes sense to partner with Landlords Liaison Program to just mitigate my risk of even being in those areas and providing housing, it sounds like. So plenty for them to do. It's an amazing thing that they supply the community. I'm impressed with what they do. So,
Yeah.
just to wrap up, you had said you wanted to talk a little bit about Spinnaker's company holiday
Yeah.
giving. You said that you have a family charity program that you're doing. I'll say, just from talking to your employees, especially Holly, that I know she would have so much to say about the families that you help. She was almost in tears one time when she was telling me about right when COVID broke and people that were without food and were without, basic necessities. And I just know that she is one of your team members that is just so closely connected and cares so much. So I loved hearing that you are actually formalizing that and doing something, giving your employees something to do to give back. So tell me about that. What is this giving program about?
Yeah, so we're working with a client that actually is a religious-based organization,
Mm-hmm.
and there's many religious-based organizations out there looking for help for their congregation, and it's a natural connection because we manage their rentals, and they
Oh,
asked,
sure.
yeah, and they asked if we could help with their congregation. So we said, of course, and it was stunning when we said, sure, we'll do that. So they gave us a family, and then what was so stunning is that when we got the list from the family, husband and wife and three kids, the younger kids, I believe all under 12,
Sure.
that there was a list for wants and there was a list for needs. And it was something that just one of our team members could cover. So
Mm-hmm.
it was really just like really this it just like that's all we could do. Well, let's see if we can compound that. So we reached back out to the church and they gave us five families. And
Mm-hmm.
so, and it's not even just a Spinnaker contribution like with Bears and Bites, Next Chapter, and LLP. This is a team member level where each team member actually got a child and went out and purchased what they wanted and what they needed and one little extra just because
Yeah.
we can.
Yeah.
And so where there's multiple kids in the family, I would get one kid and Leandra had another, and then another team member had another. So we got together to make sure that when we were spoiling the one, we were spoiling the three of them equally. So they all got to experience the same level of generosity and charity. And
Yeah.
then we're doing that with other families. And in addition to that, Spinnaker stepped up and then donated 10 $50 gift certificates for the parents and other adults that don't have families that need help. So
Nice. Yeah. Wow, what a great thing. And don't you get back so much when you give like that, right? Especially if you have knowledge of the child. And I've heard consistently across a couple of my other clients too that these giving programs, that needs are showing up a lot more this year, needs and wants, so kids are asking for slippers and PJs for Christmas because the
jackets.
COVID crisis has just kind of taxed everybody's resources. Everybody
Yeah.
that usually gives to needy families is just kind of tapped out. So super fun to hear that you guys are doing something, again, very practical for families in the area. So what are you up to for Christmas? Are you here for the holidays? Do you celebrate Christmas?
Yeah, of course we'll celebrate. And I don't know how much we're going to celebrate this year in as far as family volume. We were pretty reserved as in Thanksgiving, and I'm sure we'll be again that way at Christmas. It's a challenge, and we're just grateful. We are so blessed, and to have such abundance that it's not just Mark or not just Spinnaker. It's actually each of our team members, and they have the grace to actually extend again beyond just them and their families to this religious organization to hopefully for a moment take the worries and concerns that these families have because of the environment to just enjoy the Christmas spirit with
Yep.
the gifts.
Yeah. Yeah, Spinnaker is what you do is such a people business, right? So you can't ignore the whole the needs, the abundance, but also the needs of the community. And you can't
Yep.
do what you do without looking at them right in the face sometimes. And yeah, it's amazing to me. I think it takes a lot of patience and energy to do what your team does. And I know that you do it with a lot of grace and generosity. So thank you for being in the Tacoma community. And it's always good to talk with you, Mark. And I hope we'll be publishing this video in all the different outlets and giving it a chance to circulate, and hopefully encourage maybe some people to give to these organizations the way you do. So if you want details on how to give, the website's a great place to go. There's the contact information for each of these organizations is there. But you could also, of course, always call Spinnaker, and the number's listed there, 253-830-5160. And you could speak with Mark or Holly or any one of the staff. So thank you, and we'll be talking to you again in January. Thanks, Mark.
And Jennifer, this year, because you're a very generous person too, nothing over $500 for me this year. Okay, you spoiled me last time, and I just really want
I'll take back one of the bottles of champagne and one of I'll take back the snowmobile.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, or maybe the ski-doo. You'll only get the ski-doo, but not the snowmobile. Okay. I'm so sorry. It's going to be a tight year. So thanks, Mark. We'll talk again. Bye-bye.